Mommy, good morning. I don't understand how this happened, but I hired an Italian lawyer to get me citizenship, okay? And I paid him the initial amounts of money, right? One of the things he did was he reconstructed my Italian grandfather's Italian birth certificate, which is what the embassy told me I needed to do to get citizenship. Even though I had authorities that told me the embassy should have accepted my grandfather's military registration document as proof that he was born in Italy, but they didn't. So they said, you got to reconstruct his birth certificate. So I did that. Okay, I had his birth certificate reconstructed, and I have his Italian birth certificate. But while that was happening, the Italian government then changed the rules, apparently, on citizenship while that was happening. And I don't even understand why it was that I no longer qualified for citizenship under some new hiccup to the laws. I don't even understand it now. Anyway, the lawyer I had told me that he was going to charge me like another $6,000 to submit that Italian birth certificate of my grandfather with my other documents to a court for citizenship, okay? Well, I paid that money thinking, he had originally told me that the cost of submitting my application for citizenship was like around this price, like around 6,000 American dollars. Okay? 4,000 some euros or something, like over 5,000 American dollars. And so that money apparently went to reconstructing the birth certificate, although that wasn't what I understood that amount of money to have been for. I understood the amount of money was to reconstruct the birth certificate and then submit the reconstructed birth certificate with the documents to the court for approval. Okay, but no, later he comes back after the birth certificate has been reconstructed. He says, I need another 4,000 euros to submit your documents to the court. Well, I paid it without question. And then time passes and I get a letter back saying the rules have been changed. The courts are not going to hear your case. They're not hearing any cases, okay? Well, I figure eventually they're going to hear cases, but he said, I will return to you all your documents because they're not hearing any cases. You mean they're not going to hear cases when you can't even make an appointment at American embassies for this citizenship? They're like booked for years to come all over the United States. So everybody who's applied according to the rules that I applied by is suddenly going to be disqualified or what? Well, he sends back to me my documents, but he doesn't refund any of my money. He said that money was to go to court to get me citizenship, and then he says the court's not hearing any cases, so that means he never went to court, and I paid him to go to court, but he didn't refund any of my money. How is that right? I never said a word to him, because me being who I am, somebody considered crazy, I don't get into controversies with authority folks, okay? I've got messages where I said, in the past, I paid tickets here that were clearly false accusations. We got a ticket, a $400 ticket, when we weren't even at the place accused by this photograph we're supposed to have been. We weren't there at all. We had receipts showing we were somewhere else. We couldn't possibly have been there, and yet I went to the hearing and the woman said there was nothing wrong with this camera. It was functioning perfectly. It was tested. And your receipts don't show that your car was with you where you were when you got those receipts. So I paid a $400 ticket, and my car was not there. Okay? And that's not the only ticket like that I paid. So I don't argue these things, right? However, I'm asking you, okay? What do you think of all this? Now, I just put copies of my Italian documents for Italian citizenship into my briefcase. I've got the originals packed in, I believe, in my carry-on bag because I don't want to lose those. Okay? And I'm thinking, since you're in the professional world of successes, you may be able to do something about this Italian citizenship thing. Okay? So I'm going to bring those for when we meet. Looking forward to it. Bye for now.